You don't know what you don't know. We don't know which part of us was conditioned and which part of us are deeply, truly, authentically ourselves. That is unconditioned, right?
Is there such a thing as unconditioned?
Um,
I only know that
that's a good question.
born 18 years old and like, oh, I am Naza, I am myself.
That's all. Hi, I'm Lian.
I am Seemin.
Welcome to Honestly Speaking. So this is our pilot episode. I have here my co-host Seemin. For the pilot episode, it's just two of us, and subsequently we'll always have a guest. The whole idea of Honestly Speaking is that we want it to be a space where people can just come and be honest. We are more interested in where people are becoming and what they are in the midst of, rather than speaking on hindsight in retrospect about their advice to leading a so-called successful life. As we explore the topics further, we can also explore what we mean by successful. Since it's just two of us listening,
Yes.
we can introduce ourselves a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I would love to. But anyways, I just want to say we are at Hello Arigato today.
It's a perfect pilot episode recording venue because it says hello, thank you, arigato. So
Yeah.
we just thought that was really perfect.
So this will be a very chill chat, like a girly chat that we are just yapping over matcha. Hopefully that will be the vibe for all our episodes. Even though we're talking about very deep stuff, but you know, life is balance.
And deep conversations can happen and usually happen in like cafes and restaurants. So we think that cafes and restaurants are really the best place to facilitate conversations like this.
Wow. When I start 10 years ago, I started hand drawn, which is a Java body art business, because I just wanted to pay off my tuition fees when I was in university at that time. And one thing led to another. It became a viral success, and I decided to quit my honors degree, just get a bachelor's in sociology, just so that I could pursue body art full time. And I've been doing that nonstop for around 7 years until I decided to take a break from it all, just to ponder what is the meaning of everything that I am doing. What is the meaning of chasing fame, chasing success, and chasing money? I guess it was quite a natural thing when maybe I reached every goal that I set for myself, or everything that I aspired to be when I was a bright-eyed uni kid. You know, this is what success looked like to me. And when I finally reached that, not saying that I'm like hyper successful or anything, but when I reached a particular point where I found that actually I am happy with this, I don't need more. I started to wonder what's the purpose of my life. So I started to just do a lot of inner work, and we have arrived at cinematic storytelling, telling human stories, telling my own stories, because I think that was the thing that attracted me to body art in the first place. It was because I was in touch with a lot of humans. I was always hearing about their stories and in turn learning so much about myself. That's where I'm at now. A multifaceted artist that is often distracted by shiny things such as tattoos and cinematic videos.
You mentioned earlier about the definition of success, right? And you have achieved that. So what was your definition of success?
Oh, wow. I think as a 22-year-old, my definition of success was to be well known. So it is very cheesy quote, like to be so well known that you don't have to introduce yourself.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that kind, you know. And also to be a master in my craft. Yeah. Basically, like whatever request I get, I will be able to do it and do it well and do it in my own style.
Right now, how has that shifted, the definition? How has that changed for you?
It has changed into a bit more purpose driven. Yeah, so now I seek a lot of meaning in what I do in the everyday moments. I think last time all my goals were very extrinsic and something that I can tangibly achieve. Like I can actually like reach there, like earn $10,000 a month. And I can like check it out of the box. Now it has shifted into more like everyday things. Meaning I want to choose a life where I practice joy and creativity every single day. So it's more rooted in like everyday practices and whether like every single thing, every single decision that I make regarding business, play or personal life, whether it fulfills that goal or not.
Was there a moment where you feel that, hey, I prefer this current life, this current definition so much more?
I don't think there was a very clear moment. I wish there was that we could be so lost for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Oh my
for
god.
3 years.
I know, right? Because you can collectively know an answer. You know, like, yeah, I want to be happy every day. Yeah, I want to be joyful and creative every day. You can know that, but then like it still takes so much time for you to like, learn a lot, like habits, a lot of conditioning, a lot of thoughts about like what success is. So it was a very gradual process, but obviously there was supposed to be a breakdown. A breaking down of like everything that I didn't need anymore. That was a super long and painful process. It took me, I think, about like 2 years of like heavy purging, and then like subsequent like next 2 years is like the light purging here and there, which includes like all aspects of life actually. I feel like when people say like, oh, I had an awakening, they think it's like a like a spirit.
Like bulb moment.
Yeah, but every aspect of your life, right, must go along with it. Like your family, your relationships, your personal relationship with yourself, your career,
your choices. And the thing is, you don't know what you don't know, right? So when you were in it, I think the only compass that we probably feel that something's missing is our feelings telling us that why is it that I am living this supposed life of what I used to assume as success? Why is it not motivating me or making me happy?
Yeah.
And I think that is the compass that we need to follow to find out what really drives us.
And to each his own. Yeah, you can choose however you want to live your life or like what direction that makes you like the happiest in life. But I think it's so important to know something.
Recently, I went to an event. This lady was saying how you should always be authentically yourself. She's not wrong. But my question is, how many of us truly know the current part of us is truly authentically ourselves and not the result of like parental conditioning, societal conditioning, peer conditioning, institutional conditioning? You don't know what you don't know. We don't know which part of us was conditioned and which part of us are deeply, truly, authentically ourselves. That is unconditioned, right?
Is there such a thing as unconditioned?
I
only know that.
That's a good question.
Born 18 years old and like, oh, I am not I am myself.
Okay, I think yes and no to your question. I think what is needed is that the real no filter digging, introspective digging of yourself to really ask yourself, okay, I want the so-called 5 Cs, like, you know, the cash, the career, the condo, the car. What's the last one?
Credit card.
Oh, credit card. But sometimes as humans, we have to probably live in that conditioned life first to realize we don't want that life.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you say for sure something's not for you until you have really lived it, right?
Yeah. It's not like food, right? Like you only know you like it if you try it.
Exactly.
So Lian, tell the audience, what are you most known for and what are you doing now?
It's so strange because I'm just Lian, right? But professionally, I spent 20 years in the media industry. I started off in magazines. I ran my own flower business for the last 13 years. Last year, I founded Honest, spelled as you can see, Awenessly. And it's pronounced exactly as honest. That's why this podcast name is Awenessly Speaking. Honest is also split into different pillars. So I also have a pillar of jewelry that I'm wearing right now. They all carry key phrases that basically, like the way I speak, I do curse and swear quite a bit because it feels really good when I do that. Also, as a journalist, I do love words. I believe that words have energy, have power. The other pillars of honest also we have a website of content. And then now this podcast as well is, filled with words as per our conversations. So my favorite pillar, which is called the honest table, which you have attended twice, where a group of maybe 10 to 15 strangers come together and they all get asked a question. For my years of being a journalist, I really believe that questions really have the power to heal people. So I'm not a therapist by any training, but I believe that if people have the ability to ask themselves questions that they might not have asked themselves before, they actually can have the ability to heal themselves. It's just the willingness to be really curious and honest with yourself. So that's what honest is about. And yes.
Wonderful career trajectory.
Scary as well. Okay, but I also want to ask you, right, about the friction that you experience yourself from the early 20 period of your life till now. There must be a period of like, hey, I am not happy and content with this current place that I keep following. Where was the friction or the situation that you had epiphany that that's no longer the life I want to?
Maybe it was the period when I was packed with daily appointments, literally from 11 a.m. all the way until maybe 9, 10, sometimes 12 midnight, because the response was overwhelming. And the people pleaser in me just felt so bad that everyone had to wait so long to get a temporary tattoo. So I just accepted as much as I could. And at a point in time, I was doing my appointments in my mom's home, which I was living in. So I called it my home studio. And the lift had a very distinct sound. And my cortisol was spiked every single time I hear the lift door open, which means a new client is coming in. Yeah. It's really,
That is PTSD.
really leh. Then like even after I stopped doing appointments, I just chilling at home, right? Then the lift door opening. I walk out of mode, because I'm so scared that like I forgot an appointment. I didn't put it down on the calendar, and then like suddenly the client just shows up. And that's how much I dreaded working.
Yeah, that's when it's like a telltale signal, right?
Yeah, which is so sad because when I entered the entire career, I was so happy. I couldn't stop telling people that I found my ikigai, the purpose of my life. I found my calling. I'm set for life already. This is my calling. I was so happy that I would cry out of gratitude. I can't believe I'm so lucky to do this for a living. Then fast forward 7 years. I don't want to do it anymore.
No, dreams can change,
Yeah.
right? And they do change. But I think is what will help us is the recognition, the mechanism that helps us recognize that, hey, our dreams have changed.
Maybe because the public perception of my career was very strong. And I felt like I had to maintain that image because the demand was so strong.
I can relate. I remember from as young as I was an early teen, I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I think as girls, we all go through this phase of like devouring every fashion magazine out there, right? It was always my dream to become like a magazine journalist, and I would do unpaid internships when I was in school because I knew that I was the best writer, but I knew that I can compensate with my willingness to work damn hard. After I graduated, I also got another internship, which interestingly, it came into full circle because I was an intern there. And then 15 years after that, I became its editor. So it felt like a full circle. So I also had my moment of like, to me, that is my definition of success, right?
Literally climb a ladder.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the part where you thought that you have arrived, you don't need anything else, the salary was good. And people sort of put you on a certain pedestal. You think that you're being respected, you have so-called authority. And really, that's what I thought that I wanted until I was living that life. And then people were very nice to me, not because of my sparkling personality, but more like because of what I did as a living, right? Because, and I think it helps me to see that differentiation because of, interestingly, my flower business. So I started my flower business at 30 years old. I became the editor of the magazine when I was 35. So by the time I had ran the flower business for 5 years full time. And naturally, when I delivered flowers to land spaces, when the security guards see me carrying flowers, they will assume I'm a blue collar worker, right? And disclaimer, I really hate this whole differentiation of blue collar, white collar. You know, it's also a type of categorization. But that's what this society, functions on. So I'll be pointed to the service lift, which is fine by me. I just want to get to the venue to set up the flowers. I don't care which lift I take, right? And there's sometimes the same venue or same place that I cater flowers to, I would also be invited back as a guest because of my job. You get treated completely differently by the same people. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm not putting a blanket statement. What really stood out to me was that people don't treat you for who you are. People treat you for who they think you are. And even when people treated me really nicely, like it's so easy for me to get like a really nice, fancy lunch if I just meet up with a client, to talk over business. Yeah, but the thing is, I rather they want to meet me because, and not to treat me a free meal because they truly enjoy my company. But I think I've always been a bit idealistic like that. But when I could see the pivot in people's attitude towards you based on who they think you are, the disparity is too strong for me to not notice, and it became very uncomfortable for me to accept on a daily basis. So as years go by where I get treated so vastly different based on what people assume who I am, that to me was my friction point that I cannot. Do I want to continue living like I was being loved and adored and respected because of what people perceive me to be? But that is not actually me. My job is just a form of identity, right? And what if I don't feel like being an editor anymore?
People still treat you nicely.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm still the same person.
Yeah.
It's just my source of income has changed. I just realized I don't want that kind of disconnect anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a consistent person, and I want people to see me consistently too. That to me was the friction point.
It was just the job title that was like it's a filter, You're like
Yeah.
a raw image. And then the job titles are like different filters.
Yeah,
And people just see you through like their rose tinted glasses.
but it's also very uncomfortable because you have to live up to people's expectations.
Yeah.
And it's also very tiresome to have to live up to that because you just are you, know. You are also like just singing without your Jaguar tattoo, without you being a content creator. Maybe in the next few months, you might want to do something completely different that is still creative, but that is still you.
Yeah. I had a moment when I was had my shock to fame when my body art business and my body of work became more known. It was the period where there were a lot of people recognizing me on the streets and I wasn't comfortable with that. And then I just started to feel like, oh my god, I can't even wear my ugly home clothes near my mall anymore. I wouldn't think that like, oh my god, I'm a fraud. I'm not even known for my face. But I was just like, it was just something that I was thinking about. Like, you just had the pressure of living up to other people's expectations. Like who you are, who you need to be. Because maybe when they are in touch with you and your job, they admire you because of that version of you that they aspire to be. So last night I felt like it was very polarizing in a sense where if I'm not performing this version of me that everyone recognizes, then I am worthless. Because it's only this version that has accolades, that has recognition, has fame, has success, has status. Yeah, then the at home no makeup me is like,
How do you reconcile with that?
How do I reconcile? Yeah. My God, there was a period that I didn't want to go out, you know.
Oh wow.
I didn't blame or what, like a celebrity or but I was just going through something within myself. I sound so excited. Like when I say, who are you? Like,
Well, we are all the main characters in our own
I
life.
agree. But then now as a 31-year-old me, I think back at like these thoughts of like myself when I was 22 and 24. I'm like, oh my, get over yourself. Nobody's thinking of you so much.
I think that can also work on the flip side, right? Like I'm my worst critic.
Yeah.
Nobody can say worse things about me than I have said about myself in my head.
Yeah.
That can also work on the flip side, the same characteristic. I am the main character in my own tragedy, right? So why are you hiding yourself? Why are you shrinking? It's the most fascinating sometimes when I hear how people perceive me. It's like, huh? Wow, you actually see me in such a positive light. Why? The mental self-talk is a very real thing.
What's a powerful thing?
Yeah, even your own words to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where in your life right now do you know better? Like, but you're still not doing differently.
Wow. Wow, good question.
I really want to step into, but you don't have the balls for it.
Oh my God. I have a lot of I feel like I have a lot of aspirations, a lot of ambitions, and I know I can do it. I'm putting the work, like then like taking my small actions. I think there's still a tiny bit inside me that wants to self-sabotage any chance that I get. Yeah, so for me, it manifests in the form of doom scrolling or letting myself get distracted because I'm not prioritizing my goals. Because I know, like, when I am in that state where I know that, like, I need to get it done, I'm so strong-willed and determined, and I can work for hours and hours on end. But sometimes I'm so scared of what if my dreams actually come true. I'm scared of it failing like I did. Like, what if, it will be like when I was in my 20s.
Where your dream came true, and then a few years later, you feel burnt out by it.
Yeah, because the crash was very, very painful, and yeah. So if my dream comes true, that also means I have more responsibilities, and I have to make more difficult decisions. I have to have more difficult conversations, and I really have to be very bold. I need to step up. I cannot be passive anymore.
How about the good side of what if your dreams come true?
The good side, I guess I'll become more confident. Yeah. So my fears are from my confidence level now. Yeah, but I cannot predict how confident I will be when I'm already there.
I did read about this whole fear of success, which was very fascinating to me because us fearing failure is, of course, we all fear that. But it sounds like you were addressing a fear of success, which is so fascinating because we assume that everybody wants to be successful. Right? So you fearing success is because
I think my body is just not buying into what my mind thinks. So what it means is my mind wants success. My mind wants whatever dreams that I had. That I think that like, oh, next time I'll be this, I'll do that. But then my body is still doing what I used to do, which is like playing small, don't want to take up room, I never prioritize myself or see myself in the light that I need to see myself in if I like need to become this person. Because essentially achieving your dreams means becoming a different person. You have to be a different person, right? Unless right, you're those like Capricorn that kind, like you prepare them hard. You prepare so hard behind the scenes, then when the opportunity comes, it looks like luck. But technically you still have to become a better you have to be a different person. Yeah. Because like who you were when like you haven't started preparing and who you are when you get the opportunity, when the preparation is sufficient, you're a totally different person.
it's true, I agree with that. But I don't agree with the Capricorn thing.
Because you're Capricorn.
because I'm a Capricorn sun. I have so much dread preparing for this podcast, even though I've been wanting to do it for years. Being the Capricorn that I am, I make sure that I research not just about the content, but also about the whole technical part, right? The phone, the camera, the mic, everything. And honestly, if I'm not doing it with you, I don't think I'll be doing it because the overthinker, the over prepper can also see all the possibilities that it can go wrong.
Oh my god. I think that's like Capricorn side.
Yes. And
I'm very like go with the flow, man. I'm NFP.
I'm also an INFP. I am. Similarly to you, right? Like the thing that I've been thinking a lot about that I want to overcome, but I'm not quite there yet. It's like you not shrinking, making yourself visible and taking up space. And I've been exploring this within myself for years because if you look on paper, I look like I'm so trained in media. It's so natural that I pivot into this medium of podcasting or a social media content creator. But there is such a gap in where I was trained, which is traditional media, print media, legacy institutions. So I was never independent or sovereign, right? I was always like working for a legacy institution as an employee. And the interesting thing is social media is now has making it very democratic that anyone can be a content creator. Anyone can be an editor actually. If you ask anyone on the street right now, what is mass media? It is no longer print media. It is social media. So the only thing that has changed is the type of media that has changed. So why is it that I am resisting social media so much? That's when I realized that I was trained to hide behind a legacy title. I was trained to hide behind someone's idea of what a magazine title sounds and looks like. And when I'm being allowed to be visible, that's scary.
Because no one gave you permission.
Yeah, no one gave me permission. And the funniest thing is, the only permission that I needed is for myself.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's the hardest to give.
It is the hardest to give. But I think once you give yourself permission, it doesn't even matter if you get criticism.
Yeah.
It's so clear to you already that you can't even be like screwed with by anybody else outside of you.
Are you feeling that now?
Are you feeling that too?
I think so.
Which is so strange and unfamiliar to me, you know. Do you feel that way?
I feel like I was working myself to it, but there was always a little blockage. So I would try to be here.
So what is it? Like what makes it more palatable to like, just make yourself visible?
Honestly, I think I'm reaching a point where I'm like, actually, who the fuck care? If I did something wrong, I can always amend myself later. Like, I don't cancel lah. Like, you say anything wrong before me. Like, that was like really not how I used to think. I'm like, oh my god, I need to pay right. I need to do wrong. But now I'm like, actually, if I live my life according to my own terms, honestly, I am a role model already for people who need to follow me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The path in life is really not linear. Growth is not linear. Just because that's who we are today, that's what we like today, that doesn't mean we will always like it tomorrow or next year.
I think look at how much our careers change.
Yeah,
It's like I met you way after your magazine career. I really don't know that you were editor last time.
Oh, really?
You work in fashion
Okay.
for so long until you brought it out. I was like,
Yeah.
you just know you for 1 year, no?
Yeah.
Not as a
I know you as like
honest founder or like
yeah.
magazine editor.
But I also kind of like that because we don't let the identities thing, the roles that society has described us to cloud our judgment of each other.
Yeah,
you know,
in a box. Like that.
Exactly, like what I perceive you to be.
Yeah. I find it quite inevitable though, right? I find it quite inevitable that we form that kind of boxing in and categorization in our games. When we first meet people, human beings are relational creatures. We are naturally social, meaning that we're always seeking out social connections and living alone. We want to maintain social connections because we always want to be socially accepted. And thus, like, you always have this like internal bearing. Okay, where do I stand in this social circle? like when fit in, when fight with these people. In the midst of this, we always form a lot of stories about ourselves, about people that we're meeting. So for very long, I'm like, no categories, like no boxing ourselves in. But then I realized it's also quite inevitable. Even I find it hard.
Quite hard. What do you mean?
Like hard to like see people as like zero labels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because to understand you deeply, I need to know your perspectives. And like sometimes it's more it's fun to know the person's perspective through the things that they do, they like to do.
Yeah.
So is it like within a box? Like putting maybe just a
I think it depends on what you extract from your answers.
Okay.
It's a two-way street, right? What always left a deep impression is also the question you asked me. Remember when we met and I told you that I really want you to do this podcast with me? And the question you asked me really just made me feel that, okay, Seemin is the right person to do it with. Because you asked the right question. Because if you ask that question, it means that is a value that is important to you and that reflects who you are. You asked me, like, do I visualize
or yourself as a guru, like a leader giving advice, or someone just going through life and sharing?
This question matters because I want to sort of emphasize that for honestly speaking, we are not doing horticulture here where we are the experts in something. We're telling you if you want to live this life, you must do this habit. We are here to ask questions that I think we all internally have the inner authority to know what is best and wisest for ourselves. And we are not experts or gurus here to tell people what to do, but really just to explore part of their life that they may not have explored yet and helping them come into their bigger truth.
Yeah, I think there's so much value in experiencing someone experiencing a life. Because when I was going through the trenches of my life, like all I could do was to try and find advice. And many times, all this advice I don't understand because they are speaking from retrospect. Like this is what is happening, and this is what you should do. But then I'm like, but there's this feeling. I don't understand. Like, what is this all about? What do you mean? What do you mean by you need to love yourself? Like self worth is all about. No, I'm like, yeah. But how? I don't understand. It would have been more valuable to me if I was watching somebody in the same state as me.
Yeah.
And they're going through the same thing, like, oh my god, my career transition, and like, oh, dying, but still trying to survive. And while they're still dying, sometimes still having a bad day, they have like, what kind of thoughts? What kind of thoughts they have? Like, what do they talk about? What do they think about? What prompt them to change? Like, all this will make me feel so much better.
Yeah, how to recognize certain stages you go through yourself. Because at the end of the day, there's no bigger truth than the one you have arrived within yourself. Yeah, so I think that's the power of questions. That's the power of don't giving advice and instructions on how to live a better life, but just allow people the space to ponder about themselves.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simi. And we have no idea who's going to be our next guest.
Next guest, I'm sorry.
We hope to be getting like-minded people who might not have completely figured it out yet, but at least self-aware. So at the end of the day, I think what we want to do at Honestly Speaking is just to figure things out together in life, and hopefully we can arrive at a place where we are just comfortable with.
So,
See you the next time.